Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jay Mays, aka Jarrell Mason. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Album Cover, where we get inside the entertainment industry with those in the know and give them their flowers while they're here to be celebrated. With me right now, I have my good friend who saw the grind before everybody else and back during the days at 99.5 Jams, formerly First Media Radio, back when we were board hopping, doing Sunday morning TV. One of my good friends, your favorite DJ, my good bro, DJ 321 3 2. What's going on, bro? And thank you for coming back on the pod. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, it's been too long, man. Thank you so much for having me back on Beyond the Album Cover.
Yeah, man. Cool points. We still here, baby.
Still here.
Yeah, yeah. I went to IHOP the other day, got a three-piece special. So if you know, you know.
Yeah,
So I'm
look,
just gonna
just
let you guys know there's probably gonna be a lot of inside jokes during this episode, a lot of references that y'all ain't gonna
Mhm.
get. So CJ 321, B Train, Earn, y'all know what it is. Shout out to intern, you
Yeah,
know what it is.
you know what it is, radio.
Know what it is, radio. We still love you, intern, but we're gonna lead off with we're taping this podcast on Thursday, February the 6th, and we found out yesterday on Wednesday, February the 5th, that we lost Irv Gotti, founder of Murder Inc. at age 54, and sadly a young age to pass away. But just thinking about his passing got me to thinking about how big of a run Murder Inc. had back in the late
Hmm.
90s, early 2000s with Ja Rule, Ashanti, Vita, Cadillac Ty, and how
Mm.
Ashanti was able to really cross into the pop lane and really did huge numbers with her album.
Hmm.
So, can we just talk about how Murder Inc.'s run was really up there with Bad Boy right around during that time period and what Irv Gotti brought to the music industry? You good, bro? Go ahead.
Man, like you said, you can't deny that Murder Inc. run, even though 50 Cent came, did what he did, in an epic fashion. But you can't deny Ja Rule. But let's create. Let's go back to Ja's first album, the Vinny Vinci album. It was a street album. He had a lot of classics on there, and then he made that change when what was it? Rule 336, his
Rule
second
3
album.
336 with that infamous
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
I.
So just that 180, really put Ja up to like a whole nother status. And then I'll never forget when they first rolled out with Ashanti, and you know, then she dropped her first songs. I mean, shoot, Charlie Baltimore was part of that run, and Vita, Vita was in Belly, and then she parlayed that into the Murder Inc. run. Cadillac Ty, he had his, like, the whole label was just making moves. So it's kind of like that No Limit run in 96, 97, 98. Murder Inc. had a similar run with everything they was just dropping, was just boom, heavy radio play, boom, selling out arenas, boom, selling out CDs flying off the shelves. Like you had to go buy the music, not stream it. Now Napster was around, but we weren't downloading illegally like that. Yeah, like we was still going to the stores buying the records, man. So had everybody throwing up M's. It was crazy.
Yeah, man, and especially once that I'm Real remix dropped with J Lo and Ja Rule, that really set the streets
Yeah,
ablaze because it got both radio airplay and it was on mixtapes too.
yeah, oh yeah, man. Let's not even talk about like we got mixtapes that really cemented the legacy of the Murder Inc. run, and you got to think that was from 2000 till about what 06, 07, around that time. So they had almost a 10-year run that was just impeccable.
Yeah, man. And prior to Murder Inc., Ja Rule was in a rap group called, I believe, the Cash Money Click, and they had a record
Yeah,
called Get the Fortune. And Irv Gotti had told a story how they would jack the box. For those that don't know, the box was the first video on demand service where you paid money per call, dial the 900 number, and you put in a three-number code for what video you wanted to see. And depending on what region of the country you were in, it varied based on what videos played, and they hijacked the box, and that's what led to them getting major label buzz.
Hmm. The things we had to do back in the day, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't that bold to call the box because I knew I was gonna get a butt whooping when my mama saw that bill.
But Bill, yeah, that's the thing we had to worry about as millennials. Like we had what was that 10, 10,
10, 10, 3, 2,
220,
1.
2, yeah, 10, 10, 3, 2, 1. Like we had all these like collect call services, and we had landlines and pay phones. Like 106 in Park, people used to have to put votes in for videos. That's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
but
speaking
yeah,
of
man, fun
106,
times.
man, yeah, speaking of 106, I heard that they were gonna do something to commemorate 106 for its 25th anniversary. Cause it's crazy to think it's been 25 years since 106, how they came on 2 years after TRL launched on MTV, and it was pretty much BT's attempt at doing okay, let's do the urban version of TRL, and we had the iconic hosts AJ and Free, and then later on
Mm-hmm.
we had Roxy and Rocky Mount's very own Terrence J
Yep, Terrence J.
hosting.
Yep.
And I can remember how big that was seeing Terrence J on 106 and then coming to find out he was from Rocky Mount and then hearing his story, how he got his start. I believe it was at Power, right? Or was it at Soul 92
Mm-hmm.
that Terrence J got his start?
Soul 92.
Soul 92 and just
Yeah.
thinking how, man, this guy was just 45, 50 minutes up the road, doing his thing to
Mm-hmm.
be from Rock City 252 and then going on BET. It definitely put the battery in the back for a lot of folks from back our way saying, hey, man, if he can make it, I know I can too.
Yeah, D Train has a connection with them because he and Terrence J even told me this when I interviewed him. Before we even started the interview, I told him, I said, "Yo, man, D Train sends his regards." He was like, "Man, D Train started my whole journey." Like he didn't say it in those words. He put a curse word in there, but he was like, "Yo, D Train started like he literally jump started my whole media career." So he definitely doesn't forget, and he remembers.
Yeah, yeah, man, which is what you should do. Because when I read Terrence J's story and just reading about the journey, he was talking about he was working, I believe, two jobs at Golden East, and I know what stores he probably was working at too, without naming names. And then just saying how he would always be the swing person whenever somebody was out working
Mhm,
holidays. That's what you had to do back then when radio was king to really get on. And it's
mhm.
just amazing to see how he took that opportunity being in Fresh Faces 106 and parlayed that into a successful multimedia career.
Yep. And even to tie that into like the Murder Inc. run and Irv Gotti, like they dominated 106 in Park. Like, you know, that was just another part of the element, adding the element. Their video stayed in the top 10, usually number one. So man, Irv set Murder Inc. up for a great run, man. He's definitely gonna be missed. 54 years old, which is crazy. Uh I would just like to encourage black men, please go to the doctor, man. Take care of yourself. Because one of his last interviews was on Drink Champs, and the clip just hit my feed earlier, and he was talking about how he couldn't control his numbers, and it was like it gets to a certain point, then it'll definitely be detrimental to his health. It could really take him out. And Nori was like, "Yo, man, are you good though?" Like as he was finishing the explanation, Nori asked him if he was good, and Irv was real. He said, "Nah, I can't keep my numbers in control," and that's just how serious diabetes is, or any health related matter for that matter. So black men, go get a PCP, go see your doctor. If you could get a black man as a doctor like I did, cool. But we definitely have to start taking care of ourselves, man, because I hate to read the stories of our hip hop legends or our black celebrities, not making it out of their 40s or 50s.
Yeah, man, definitely check on yourself. Health is wealth. Do what you got to do to stay healthy and just be there for the peoples, for the ones that you love. Now, shifting from Murder Inc., talking about Bad Boy, Diddy's been in the news, with the raid and everything that's been coming out and all the docu-series that's been out talking about what's been going on behind closed doors and your take on the whole thing and how have you as a DJ have been conflicted to where do I mute all Bad Boy records during my sets, or is it where play the Bad Boy stuff, but try to find stuff that don't have his vocals on it because we know for some people, with what taking place right now with him, what's coming to light can be a trigger.
Man, you know how hard that that is the most difficult thing, like just from a DJ perspective. Now I will say I never was really playing a whole lot of Diddy records per se. There were songs that yeah he did vocals on. I play a lot of '90s, early 2000s, so of course I'm playing the 112. You know, I don't really play "I Need a Girl" like that. So, but other songs that he's featured on, "Pastic of RCA," "Busta Rhymes," but I haven't really played those since the raid. I've still played some 112 songs, but not songs that he was on. Um, that would be difficult to. I'm not gonna play this song because his vocals are on it. Because he has a hand in a lot of songs, and it's just like not playing R. Kelly, which I only play R. Kelly if somebody asks. I'm not just gonna outright play it, and that's just me being in good conscience. So I wouldn't necessarily say monitor, so to speak, but I am cautious. I'll say that.
Mm.
Because some people don't care. People that step out, they really don't care. They really separate the person from the artist. I could go and do a Bad Boy set, and people are still gonna vibe to it. But they'll just be like, yeah, what Diddy did was messed up. Yeah, he told Cassie up in that video, but they still gonna two step to it. Like just like people still gonna do "Step in the Name of Love," and they did that in my last karaoke event. Somebody wanted to do it for karaoke, and they did the whole R. Kelly "Step in the Name of Love," and people separate the artist from the person, and they don't hold it against them.
Right. It's definitely a conundrum because, like you stated, Bad Boy, integral part of, our
Mhm.
preteen, teen years, young adults, and how that Bad Boy run was something special. He pretty much took what he learned at Uptown under the late Andre Harrell and just made it a souped up, better version of Uptown.
Definitely. So, and it's kind of hard to really, incorporate that moral compass to say, yeah, what Diddy did was wrong, and what he did was wrong, and he's gonna, have to serve whatever time or whatever punishment comes down the pipeline. So, but I don't know. As a DJ playing music for the public, I can't deny that. But me personally, I'm not playing Diddy. I never really played Diddy in the car anyway. Like I'm stuck on Nas, Nipsey, and Kendrick right now. But like me personally, like nah, I'm not gonna sit up here and turn this Diddy song on. So that's just me.
Yeah, and speaking of Kendrick, Drake is gonna get fried hard like some fish this coming Sunday in the Super Bowl. I mean, Kendrick trolled Drake by wearing a Canadian tuxedo to the Grammys, and he had Taylor Swift and everybody in the place saying a minor. So imagine
Yeah.
once he gets to that Super Bowl stage, that it's gonna be nothing but a pure flame throwing session for Drake.
I I think that's what he knows we expect that, right? But I think he's just gonna come out and just give us bangers. I think that's what he's just gonna do. I don't I would be surprised if he does go through and trolls Drake or whatever. But I think that would take away from the show. And the same reason why uh Punch put a tweet out as somebody asked him why he didn't put Not Like Us on the album. And, Punch was like, it was integrity. That song was for a rap battle, not for to generate album sales.
Mhm.
And so I feel like that Super Bowl performance, I don't think he wants it to be about the Drake beef. We already know what happened, and he won 5 Grammys off of that song. So
Mhm.
I feel like I feel like he wants to focus on the album. He's promoting a tour, so
Right.
I feel like he would focus more so on the album he just dropped. He better do TV off. That's all. I just want to hear TV off. But mustard, yeah,
Mustard.
you gotta do that. He gotta do that. If he does
Yeah.
that, I'm good.
Yeah, Mustard, I think, just got an endorsement deal with Heinz based off, of course, that
Right.
record. And then it was announced a couple of weeks ago that SZA will be joining them on the Super Bowl stage as
Hmm.
well. She just did the movie with Just One of Them Days with Kiki Palmer, which was very
Yeah,
good. I felt that it was a love letter to Friday, and it felt like an extension of Insecure. And I believe Issa Rae was one of the EPs behind that project.
yeah, she was definitely behind that. I definitely want to go see that. I love Issa Rae's work. I'm definitely a fan. So I've been meaning to try to go out there and see that movie. So, but yeah, SZA coming out to join him, and we don't know who else. He might still bring out Wayne. Like we just don't know.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
curious. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I thought I had saw a tweet earlier that Wayne had said he wasn't going to go to the Super Bowl because a lot of people felt that with it being New Orleans, Wayne should have been headline or the what we really wanted, what I really wanted as a fan was to see something with Cash Money and No Limit.
Who's to say we may still get that?
If Kendrick was
You
smart,
can't rule it
he
out.
probably would do that.
Can't rule it out. I mean, you're in New Orleans, can't rule it out. You just never know. That's why I'm excited to see like what he comes up with. You know,
Hmm.
all this hoopla, like is Wayne. We want to see Wayne, Cash Money, or No Limit. Like I just want to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah, and speaking of No Limit, I didn't know until they did the No Limit Chronicles that No Limit actually started out on the West Coast, and then Master
Hmm.
P ended up bringing it back to New Orleans after his time out west.
Yeah, he used his grandfather's inheritance money,
Mm,
open up a record store over in the West Coast. That's where he learned the independent hustle. Because that's where they were really slanging CDs out of the trunks. Like
mm,
that was real. Uh, that was a really great docuseries. The
mm.
the nerd in me really appreciates hearing these stories, and I'm glad that there's these artists are still around to tell the experience. So.
Yeah, yeah, because with No Limit, it was based out, I believe, Richmond, California, which is close to the Bay Area. And of course, the spirit of the hustle with Hammer, E40, Too Short. They're all about really getting it out the mud and slinging it out the trunk because Hammer was already pushing numbers in the Bay before Capitol came knocking, offered him that
Mhm.
deal. And of course, we know the rest is history with Hammer and what he did for rap going pop. Now, were you surprised that he declined every invitation to every hip hop at 50th celebration, even though he was asked to come to every one?
Yeah, that is surprising because he's one of the highest selling hip hop artists of all time. So, and I did notice that like he was not part of any hip hop at 50 celebrations. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, I did
Hammer
too.
could Hammer could drop a tour right now. I'm sorry to cut you off. Hammer
Oh
could
no, go
drop a
ahead.
tour right now, bro. I will go in debt. Like I would not pay my student loans for this month and go see Hammer. And I'm 40 years old, bro. But I know he's not moving like how he was, in the late 80s and 90s. Like, so, but I will go see that.
Nah, I would too, because for those that don't understand, everybody that only knows Hammer as a punchline from Rick Ross and being in the Lay's commercials, Cheeto commercials, Hammer is the main reason why rap is pop. Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him went diamond. This man was selling KFC, Taco Bell, had his own
Mhm.
doll, Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, British Knights. He was moving
Yeah,
units, and
yeah.
just it was at that time when rap was still trying to take itself seriously as an art form, and they were all about their integrity, and the art form was important as opposed to the crossover dollars. And I think
Mhm.
Hammer fell on the sword for that, but everybody realized that in order for rap to expand and grow beyond where we're at, we got to go to the suburbs and to the world too.
Mhm. Hammer was for like those kids that can't listen to like growing up. We couldn't listen to NWA or we couldn't listen to who else was out at that time? Digital
Luke,
Underground,
Spice
Black Sheep,
One.
Luke. Yeah, like Ghetto Boys. Like we couldn't listen to that stuff. You know, if they had parental advisory on CDs, there was a time where parents, yeah, they wasn't letting us listen to that music. So I mean, hell, there was a time when LL Cool J was cussing, you know, and he went gangster. So we couldn't listen to that stuff. I know I couldn't.
Hold
I
up.
never forget my go ahead.
I was gonna say, are you talking about 13 Shots to the Dome?
One of I think it was that no, it was the Mama Say Knock You Out album.
Uh-huh.
Cause like he started really changing his image from, you know, the ladies man rapping about girls, and then he switched it up. It was around Mama Say Knock You Out. That's when he started doing the hardcore tough rap.
Mm-hmm.
So I never forget I had the Mr. Smith album. So this had to be 95. Had Parental Advisory CD on there. I don't know how I got past my parents. Bought it. They seen it though when we got home. Oh nah, this guy cussing. They got the Prince Advisory CD. Nah, you can't listen to that. You know, Above the Rim came out. We had the VHS. Man, Tupac got the cussing in the first few minutes of the movie. Nah, son, you can't watch this. You know, so there was a lot of like parental advisory, and my house was real. I could only listen to Hammer and Crisscross. Like those were the people that I was able to listen to as far as like rap go when I was younger. So, man, Hammer always gonna be my guy.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And you mentioned how we had the parental advisory stickers, but the workaround was you had to go to the big box store to see if they had the clean version.
Or Walmart.
Kmart, rest in peace.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I bought a Rough Riders Volume 1 from Walmart. Didn't know they sold edited music until the very first song come on. I'm like, oh man, I got the edited version. I can't.
Woo! Got the clean version.
Got the clean version. Bumping that joint loud in the car. I ain't care.
But it was clean though, so you couldn't deny
Yeah.
that. But you mentioned Chris Cross and how you know they did mega numbers, jump, crossover hit, worldwide smash. They were opening up for Michael Jackson, and that's how
Mhm.
huge Chris Cross was. And I went back a couple of months ago, listened to the Totally Crossed Out album, and had a chance to interview Joe the Butcher Nicolo, who also did records on that album with JD. It's just how they had that perfect balance of records that were kid friendly, but the beats were hard enough to where they didn't come across as too soft. And then, of course, the North Carolina connection with Chris Cross was DJ Nabs, originally from Durham, Bull City, made his way
Yep.
to Atlanta. And then, of course, set the world on fire with Chris Cross as their DJ. And then later on with
Mhm.
Club Kaya and all the other nightclubs that he frequented as a residential DJ in and around ATL.
Yo, Nabs is definitely one of the. I'm in Durham right now, and Nabs is definitely a. They love and really respect him, especially the DJ community. I just saw him a few years ago at an Art of Noise event. Shout out to DJ Lonnie B. It brought him down, and him and Lonnie B was going back and forth. So, like, yeah, Nabs is a cool guy, man. He also gives back to the DJ community out here too. So it's always good to see people, always extend that olive branch back home. And like we were talking about with Terrence J, never forget where they come from. And he always makes sure he reps Durham and shows that his love for Durham. He does not hide that at all.
Yeah, and one of the DJs, I don't know if this DJ is on your radar, but he should be. He's been going viral with his sample to transition edits. DJ B Man out of Charlotte.
Yeah, I know B man.
Oh, word, that's my guy.
Yeah. Good guy. Shoot, he got a co-sign from Jazzy Jeff, man. Like that's that's major. So like Jazzy Jeff be inviting him to his house. So but yeah, I know B man. Virginia native, definitely based in Charlotte. So yeah, I follow him. I listen to his edits. Dope. North Carolina has a lot of great DJs that's definitely making a lot of noise
Mhm.
in their respective spaces and curating man, immaculate vibes, whether it's at an event, whether it's a remix, on tour with the artist. So man, I just be soaking up the vibes.
Yeah, man. And I believe Rhapsody just won a Grammy this past Sunday, correct? For
Yep.
Please Don't
Yep,
Cry.
she sure did. Yep.
Yeah, definitely a big thing. Shout out to the 252 Rhapsody from Snow Hill, North
Hmm.
Carolina, alumnus of NC State University. Shout out to the Wolfpack. And just to see somebody from the hometown go up on the Grammy stage, win it,
Hmm.
and to really be true to herself and not forget where she came from and just,
Yep.
always put North Carolina on her back. That was definitely a good thing to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like she's always been authentic. She never switched up the type of music that she makes, and she never quote unquote sold out, or made a club banger to, for radio. Like she's always been true to herself, and she I don't think this is her first Grammy, or it might be. I think she just got Grammy nominated with her previous projects,
Mm.
but she's always been on the Grammys radar, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and what was your take on last year? It was a great year for hip hop because a lot of the seasoned artists released projects from Rakim to LL, MC Light, Redman, Eminem, LL Cool J, and then some of the newer acts like Glorilla. Paul Wall released a brand new album. So, what was your take on all those catalogs being released last year and thinking that we'll get that same type of response in 2025 because I believe Common and Pete Rock they're doing a follow up to the Auditorium Volume One.
I love seeing like hip hop be active. It reminds me of that time, was it 98? Where you just had everybody from all regions just putting out music. You had New York with Jay-Z, Nas, Ja Rule, Cameron, Big Pun, and then you go down to Florida, you had Trick Daddy, he just came onto the scene. They introduced Trina. Then you had shoot, Rick Ross was in the background writing songs for him. Then you go over to Texas, you still got Scarface putting out music. Then you go to the West Coast, and it's Too Short, Snoop. This is all post Tupac, so man, you had everybody from all over. I mean, even in Chi-Town with Twista, you had all regions, and then 3 6 Mafia out of Memphis. Uh, so I feel like that's where we are right now. Every region is active, and from old school to like you said, the newer acts like Glorilla, Meg Thee Stallion with her line ass. Um, so you just got a wide variety of people that definitely is keeping hip hop active.
Mhm. Yeah, but back when we were coming up, music was very segregated by what region you were in because growing up down south, I didn't really hear a lot of West Coast acts like Sugar Free, E40, Too Short, Loonies, pretty much those acts that were central to Bay Area and of course all the underground Southern California rappers and how you only heard what was coming out of your region and of course only the mainstream stuff like your Snoop, your Dre's, your Pacs everything that was coming out of New York. But once the internet came out, that pretty much erased all of those regional lines, and it was where, hey, you get to sample music from not only your part of the United States, but also across the world and hear their interpretation of hip hop to their country and their culture.
You see, this is where music videos and shows like MTV and BET, this is where they came in and like bridged everybody all together, right? Because I never forget, I had just moved back from London in '98. So I was watching a lot of like MTV, like just playing hip hop music videos. They were still doing Yo MTV Raps, but it was like an hour long. Then BET, they had Rap City. So I'll never forget when I first seen Exhibit. What you see is what you get. They played the mess out of that video, but the song was fire. Never heard of Exhibit, didn't even know he was from the West Coast. This was before Pimp My Ride. So, this is when music videos was used to be like the all the must watch on TV. That's how I knew about Exhibit. That's how I knew about the delinquents. That was his crew. So also down in Texas, I never forget when Mike Jones first blew up. And I'm in Virginia, so I don't know what's going on in Texas, but then still tip and drop. So you got to see the video. You're like, dang, who is this? Then he had Slim Thug and Paul Wall. So like, but to see music still be active, and now we're getting a glimpse of all these new artists, and there's these outlets on social media where they're able to share their music videos. It's pretty dope. Now we got TikTok. It's crazy seeing the evolution going from watching TV to now looking at our tablets.
Yeah, man, because I was listening to Bomani Jones podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking with Tyler Dragonfly Jones, and they had the conversation about how music is now being dictated to you by an algorithm, where back in our day, you listened to the radio, you had that pause button ready to record your Friday night mix show, your Hot 8 at 8, Top 7 at 7, Slam on the Jam It, or insert regional music radio show here, and that's how you knew what the latest was. And listen to your local DJ because you trusted that DJ to tell you this is hot, this ain't it. Be sure to spend your
Yeah.
hard-earned $20 at insert record store here, RIP Camelot. And just how now, if you hit an algorithm, it'll take your listening habits, your streaming habits, say, oh, you like this? You're gonna like this too.
hmm Yeah. And then shoot, mixtapes. Remember when Napster first came onto the scene? That was the first like you was able to download all the DJ Clue mixtapes and or all the West Coast DJs and the mixtapes they had going on over there. So man, we came up in a wild time.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you saw the documentary that came out on Paramount Plus last year called How the Music Got Free.
Oh no, I didn't. I saw the previews for it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so it's pretty much about how everything kind of sort of got open with the can of worms with the free downloads and the music. It was people working at a CD plant, but it turned out the plant was actually in Shelby, North Carolina, which is outside of Charlotte.
Right.
Yeah, so it was crazy to see that
Wow.
NC connection, just to hear that story and how, man, the struggle was real. Where you had dudes that had stacks of blank CDs, CD burners, the DSL cable modem going, and the CD
Yeah.
hustle was real in the hallways where it felt like paid in full. Where one guy was selling CDs for 10, another guy was selling for 5. Some had the specials going on, and it was real out.
Yeah.
It was real out there in the hallways when the CD burner hustle came on.
Oh yeah. 2 for 5, 2 for 10, 3 for 10. Got the R&B slow jams, got the cool tape. That's how we knew about Fabulous. We had heard about Fabulous when Clue had signed him and he had all the freestyles, he had the punchlines. So we knew about Fab before he even got on TV. So that
Mhm.
that was how crazy that was. Like even 50 Cent, 50 Cent blew up off of the mixtapes, off of people downloading it from Napster. You know, man, that's crazy. They call it we were giving our computer AIDS.
Yeah, man, we were risking it all with Kazaa, Bear Share,
Oh
Liar,
man,
and Morpheus,
yo,
dog.
yo, we really were. We put all kind of malware on the computers.
I'm staying up 5 hours so I can download Get Rich or Die Trying. And don't cut off the phone either because your connection would go out and you have to start it all over again.
Yeah.
Yo,
Now we just open Spotify or I got YouTube Music, so and it's like it's crazy,
nah,
man.
if you were really bold, what you did was you remember back in the day when the schools had the computer lab. There'd be a few dudes that had that computer in the very back of the
Yeah,
computer lab. It would be burning CDs off of the school computer, putting malware on the school
put
computers.
putting Windows Media Player to work.
Woo, Windows Media,
Oh man,
we old man.
yeah,
But
we old,
with
bro. We
50,
are.
man, yeah, we are old man. But with 50, you had mentioned how he got his steam off of the mixtapes. Because I remember first hearing 50 when I first heard How to Rob, and this was
Hmm.
after Power of the Dollar got scrapped because he was originally signed to Columbia, got scrapped, and
Hmm.
then How to Rob was really what launched 50, and then of course led to Get Rich or Die Trying, and doing the How to Rob era, Power of a Dollar prior to, he came in through the game through the late great Jam Master Jay. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, that whole like the whole music game was just like even the way he made his entry into the game, how to rob, like calling out everybody, and then prompted them to respond. Like Jay Z responded on the Snoopy track. No, not Snoopy track. Damn, I can't think of the name of that song. It was on the Hard Not Life. Was it Volume 2? But he was like, "I'm about $1. What the? It's 50 cents."
Mm.
Like stuff like that. So um, I think Cameron responded. Like, yeah, all these guys responding, like just building the buzz up. So finally, by the time he dropped Wankster, he was out of here. And I thought Wankster was trash. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but I went to Virginia State. A lot of New Yorkers was coming down, and they was always hollering about 50 Cent. I was reading about him in the source. I'm like, so finally got to hear Wankster. I'm like, that's it. Like this, I wasn't a big fan. And it's funny because I got the Get Rich or Die Trying album on vinyl. I need to frame it. But yeah, I definitely wasn't on the 50 train when I heard Wankster.
Yeah, man. Because when I first heard the Wankster beat, I thought it was 3-6 at first because it sounded very 3-6 ish
Yeah,
or 3-6
he had
adjacent.
this the slow like, you know, I was like, nah, I ain't vibing with it.
Mm, yeah, but in your opinion, I just went back and listened to Philly's Most Wanted's debut album, and I'm still puzzled
Wow.
at how they did not blow up more. I mean, they were getting beats from Prime Neptunes fresh out the
Yeah.
studio. I mean, Cross the Border hit. Please Don't Mind was a banger, and
Yeah.
it seemed like they just never really took off like they should have.
And yeah, Please Don't Mind was the one that I thought it was gonna take them over. I really did. I really thought that was gonna be the one. Cross the Border was, yeah, Cross the Border was a little cheesy, but Please Don't Mind, like you had a fresh young Neptunes beat, like, and they was getting heavy video play. But that's crazy that you went back that to listen to Philly's Most Wanted. That's wild. I'm gonna look them up, see what them dudes doing right now.
Yeah, I think one of them is doing like real estate, the other one's doing like art,
Mhm.
but it's just crazy to think how, like I said, that whole album was fired. Like I said, Prime Neptune beats. I mean, please don't mind when you listen to I'm a Slave for You for Britney, they just retweet that Please Don't Mind beat for Britney for Slave for You.
Mhm. Wow.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, man. And speaking of Neptunes, have you seen the Piece by Piece movie about Pharrell?
Bro, nah, not yet. I need to.
Yo, you got to see it, man. I saw it. It's very good. I was in the movie theater trying not to act it and be all wrong when the beats was hitting, especially when grinding came on. For those of
Yeah.
you that are too young to remember or don't know, that beat fed many lunchroom battles, classroom battles. All you need is a desk, somebody, some percussions. You had an instant freestyle session like
And
it was
it's
Freestyle
these
Friday.
right here.
Yeah,
It's all you needed. Yeah.
yeah, 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 man. But
Yeah,
it's
that
crazy
I'll
to
never
think.
forget.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
Sorry to cut you off, but it's crazy to think with grinding how I heard that beat was almost going to go to Jay Z.
Yeah, because I think it was Malice. I think he said he didn't know how to rap on it, or how to start it off. Because if you listen, like the way it comes on is different. It's not your typical hip hop beat. But I mean, I was at home and I think I was in my bedroom watching 106 in Park, and that was the new joint of the day. And let me set the caveat that Virginia never really like was put on the map like that. Even with the Neptunes, like there was never a Virginia artist or a group who debuted at like a new joint of the day that I can remember. I know Rex and Effects had, Rum Shaker, like years prior before that, but like it wasn't like, oh, it's not Virginia, like we're talking about rap. Like 2000s, like there was never an artist like a rap group that came onto the scene like that. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah, man. Think about Virginia. We wouldn't really have that scene if Teddy didn't set up shop in Virginia Beach and put Future Studios down there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll never forget when Missy put Timberland and Magoo on. Like just that whole right there. Like I didn't even know that she was from Virginia until we looked into it. And then like, oh snap, they from the 7-5. Like that's crazy. So, but to have the Clips come on the scene like that, like a hardcore rap group,
Mm.
yeah, that was dope. RIP to Magoo, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, RIP. And when you said 757, you think about the culture. We mentioned Timberland, Missy, Neptunes, and then we have two cultural influences on the athletic side. Football, Michael Vick, basketball, AI from Bad News, Newport News, and Hampton, respectively. And how, kids are rocking the sleeves on the arm because of AI, wanting to wear braids and a sweatband and step up with somebody like Coach Lou, all because of
Yeah,
AI. And when you look at the
yeah.
modern day NFL quarterback, like the Patrick Mahomeses, the Josh Allens, the Jalen Hurts, they're all a direct descendant of Michael Vick and the quarterbacks that came before him, and how
Mhm.
Vick, I believe, had he been drafted a couple of years later, would have definitely been bigger. And this was pre-social media too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta go watch the Vic 30 for 30 that they did on him. Cause they show like high school, college, when he got into the league, pre-dog fighting scandal. Like he was killing, but he just couldn't stay healthy. That was the only thing. He just couldn't stay healthy. So, but yeah, man, I love my home state, man. We definitely have some legends. We definitely have people paved the way, on the music side of things, even on the sports. So yeah, man, shout out to Virginia. I love my home state.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with pioneering early rap group out of VA. I believe they were from the Danville area. Grandmaster Slice and Izzy Chill.
I just read about them. I don't know how I went down this rabbit hole. They're out of South Boston.
Yeah, I know they're
They
around that
were
area.
they were one of the first groups out of Virginia to get a record deal, I believe.
Mm,
And one of them just passed a few years ago.
mm,
So, but
yeah,
yeah, I came across that on some Facebook rabbit hole. I don't know how I came across it, but yeah, I just learned about that recently.
yeah, same here. Listening to the girls move their butts records, they definitely had that GJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh
Hmm.
Prince vibe, and how a lot of people tend to think, because of their pop look and the pop sound, if it wasn't for Jeff and Will, like Hammer, rap wouldn't have been able to cross over because you need that to counter the harder stuff.
And think about it, man. They're in South Boston, bro. Like that's literally in the middle of nowhere. Like y'all go pull up South Boston on your maps, whether it's Apple or like it's literally in the middle of nowhere. This
Hmm.
small town, super small town. It was really Virginia country living out there. Like you blink your eye, like yeah, like it's middle of nowhere.
Right, right. And I didn't know Lady of Rage was from Danville until like
Hmm.
B Man had pointed it out, because I believe she had mentioned Danville and Afro Puffs. I was like, hold on, she from VA? And then just to see how she was able to link up with Death Row and do everything
Hmm.
that she did there and parlay that into the Steve Harvey show and the movies,
Yep.
acting and everything. So shout out to Lady of Rage, man.
Yeah. Crazy Danville.
Yeah, believe me.
Again, another small town in the middle of nowhere.
But now
Like
Danville about to be popping now though, because they just put a Caesars up there, right?
I just went up there. That Caesars is not. I mean, it's a nice size for Danville, but like yeah, once you cross that bridge, like that's about it. You know, that, there's nothing else
Oh,
out there.
hold on. So it's like the Martin Luther King Hotel and Jakey Promoters, man.
I I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's like that. I would just say it's a good attraction for the town.
Yeah,
You
but
can't
make
miss it though.
nah. Everybody know Danville's a walk up town. And make sure you had the Coke and the
Yeah,
Hennessy.
it's definitely a walk up town for sure.
Danville's finest.
Yeah, it's definitely it is definitely a walk up town. And when they threw the Caesars up there, I was so surprised because my mom was looking at real estate out there to buy property. And I was like, man, ain't nobody going to Danville. Ain't nobody moving. Like, first off, it's not off a major highway. Uh, and I was just thinking like just, from a logical perspective, or I should say my logical perspective, because I was clearly wrong in this scenario. I was like, it's not a town that people are just gonna up and move to. Like nobody says, hey, I'm gonna go move to Danville. It was one of those scenarios, and she's buying rental property, so it's just like, when you buy property, you want a town that's growing, where people are moving to, where there's something there like a school or a big hospital that you want to, rent to people to be tenants. And like, I said, no offense to Danville, but that just wasn't it. Boy, was I wrong because they rolled out Caesars coming in 2.5 years. I had to call my mom, like, all right, mom, I was wrong. Yeah, you should have bought property out there. Property skyrocketed like a mug, bro.
Yeah, so you said Danville gonna be all right, bro.
Yeah, yo, Danville said they was gonna be all right. They was like, don't listen to 3, 2, 1. He don't know what he's talking about.
The projections was off on that one, but when I heard
Yo,
Caesars was going to open, man, I thought about please don't let the element mess it up for everybody, so it won't be like the 22-2 skit. See, that's why we as a people can't have anything because we don't know how to go in
nah.
places and act properly. Man, shut the. Who told me shut the f up? Him.
Nah, I don't think it was gonna be that way because when I went up there a couple weeks ago, it was a lot of people in there trying to win some money. So they're not gonna mess up the house's money. So they definitely good on that. But yeah, it was just, man, it was a horrible call on my part.
Yeah,
Like
you definitely missed that one, man. Definitely missed that
I
one.
mean, but who would have thought? Danville. Okay. Danville is literally an hour from South Hill going west on 58. Is like I said, you can't there's no major highway to get there. Even from me, it's an hour and some change from me, and I can't get there's no major highway. 85 does not run into it. I had to take what was it, 13 all the way up, I believe. Like I'm on a back road with deers. So I'm, of course, knowing Danville and how long I've lived in Virginia, I was like, yeah, I don't see nothing like that happening. Like I don't think buying property now would be good. But then again, I didn't foresee Caesars being like, yeah, we're gonna put a casino here.
Yeah, man. Caesars for Danville is like what Meljo's was.
Like on steroids.
Yeah, I heard stories about Meljo's. I've never been, but Meljo's was the spot if you were a partier in the 434 252 back in the early 2000s, the early 10s. It was where people were just coming from miles around, lining up, and it was a time to
Yeah.
be alive, as they would say.
Man, people done got shot, killed outside in the parking lot, and they was still packed the next weekend. Like it was so crazy. Like people done literally lost their life the weekend before. The next Saturday, it was jumping. Like, yeah, Meljo's is, yeah, man, that was what a time.
Man,
But
the days,
to
man.
but to answer your question, like, yeah, Caesars in Danville is like that, but on definitely on steroids because they're bringing like top tier acts. They're gonna bring the big celebrities. They're gonna bring the big bands and stuff to perform. So
Mhm.
it's good for
Yeah,
the town.
yeah, man. For those that don't know that have not been to a show at a casino, don't be sleeping on shows at casinos. I've been to a handful since moving out here. They be attracting some big names because out here in the Southwest, a lot of the native reservations have casinos on there, and they
Hmm.
attract big names like artists, comedians, whatever, what have you. My wife and I, we just went to go see Arsenio and Howie Mandel a couple of weeks
Really,
ago, and it was really dope too. Good seats, and good rooms, and it was definitely a good time. So if you get a chance to go check out a show at a casino, do so and get your room. You get to stay, and maybe you may get to mess around and hit for a lick at the casino. But don't get too greedy because the house always wins, though.
Hawks always win. That's what people mess up at. They get greedy.
Yeah, man. So what's your take on Vegas and how they're embracing the younger contemporary legendary acts getting their residencies. Like New Edition, they're doing their final 6 shows of their Vegas
Mhm.
run. New Kids on the Block starting their Vegas residency run. Usher had his big run not too long ago,
Mhm.
and just how Vegas was once looked at as an elephant graveyard where artists' careers go to die. But now,
Mhm.
if you play your cards right, if you already got an established brand, you can play the long game by saying, I don't like touring. Y'all come to me. Or if you want to bite the apple twice and say, come to me for a short time, but catch me on the road, you get to play that game too. So, what's your take on
Yeah.
the reimagining of Vegas residencies and how Vegas is starting really to recognize urban acts and say, hey, there's money in us wanting to come to Vegas and spend money.
Vegas has now become the number one entertainment capital like in the world. Like people literally come from all over to go to Vegas. And whether like for me as a DJ, like that's like the equivalent of me packing up my bags and going to Vegas to try to make it as a DJ. Like that's the equivalent to it. Like so people resurrecting their careers or getting these Vegas residencies definitely help their brand because like you said, it used to be like, oh man, they play in Vegas, like their career done. But it's like now it's a resurgence. Usher, his you can get on the internet and not hear about Usher's residency. You didn't even have to go to Vegas. So I frequent Vegas at least once a year. So I'm definitely a fan of the city. Never gets old every time I go. I think I've been like 5 times in the last 6 years. So I love it. I love to see it. And it's so like it's crazy. Like Vegas has like a shift. I like to call it. So last time me and my boy CJ was out there for a DJ Expo, we was there during the week and we were leaving out Thursday. So as we were leaving out of the hotel, we stayed at the Luxor. You see a sea of people behind us leaving, but then you see a sea of people coming in. I say, oh, that's the weekend shift. We shift we clocking out, we going back home, and here come the weekend shift to turn up. So but that's just one hotel. But that's Vegas. You know, you got people that's there during the week. They leave out, go back and do what they do. But the weekenders that's coming to turn up, they coming by the droves. So Vegas is an interesting city. I love it.
Yeah, man, and imagine last year when the Super Bowl was there, how everybody was
Hmm.
there. They showed, I believe, a social media video of everybody at one of the hotels on the strip trying to go to Allegiant Stadium to the game, and how, like you mentioned, one crew comes out, another crew comes in. That Vegas is just like New York, where it's the city that never sleeps. But I'm going to tell you right now,
Yeah.
for someone that's been to Vegas quite a few times, stay off strip. It's cheaper. Avoid all the people trying to sell you timeshares unless you want to get suckered and sit into a room for 2 hours where they try to press you to buy a timeshare. Avoid that. Just hit them with the keep it moving. Do the Heisman on them and eat off the strip because there's definitely good spots to eat at off of the strip, like Baby Cakes, Grits, M&M Soul Food Cafe, which hopefully is probably still over by the Stratosphere, which is great. But on strip, you may can find some good stuff, but off strip is where it's at. But it's also some good family friendly shows if you want to go, magicians, dancers, something that's of the 18 and under set. You could definitely pick your flavor, do what you like, and of
Mhm.
course, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas if that's your cup of tea.
Except herpes.
Yeah, it don't grill in the house either.
You saw Hangover, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That so I'm like me and Jay Mays, we always swapping movie lines. So if y'all don't remember Hangover, definitely watch the why that's in the beginning. He said what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And then uh what's the guy? Zach, he said except
Zach
herpes.
Galifianakis. Yeah, yeah. And speaking of which, he's from NC. I believe he's from the western part of the state, like around Wilkesboro area. Went to NC State. He didn't graduate though, but of course, NC native. Then another NC native from Greensboro, Ken Jong. His dad,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
taught at A&T. And a
Hmm.
couple years ago, he was the commencement speaker at my alma mater, UNCG. Shout out to the Spartans. What up, though? And just how NC right now is really booming because you have a lot of places looking to set up shop, either Triangle, Triad, Charlotte area, and how
Mhm.
all the areas surrounding is really experiencing a come up where the property is so high, where it's like, I don't know if I could afford to live in Nightdale, Clayton, Apex, Glendale. I may have to move around to Bunn or Lewisburg or even as far as Rocky Mount because I
Yeah,
can't afford to live around the Triangle area.
and that's crazy because Apple announced that they were putting a campus here. It's funny, the campus is literally less than 10 minutes from where I stay. I see it off. You can see it off the side of 40. I see it every time when I headed over in that direction. But they pretty much halted uh those plans. I haven't heard anything. And the city, they was kind of like, Apple, what y'all doing? You promised to have this campus and you was gonna put, X amount of billions into the Raleigh Durham economy. So, but that was the ripple effect of Apple announcing that they were coming after Google already set up shop, um, which they're downtown now. Facebook, they were gonna have a remote location down here too. So that's what's driving up the pricing.
Yeah, and I just read that the WNBA they just filed at the U.S. Trademark Patent Office. They probably are going to try to bring back the Charlotte Sting.
Good. They should. I mean, I know they own the team, and I think they own the Houston Comets as well. So I think that'll be really good for NC and really good for the WNBA to keep expanding. They already have what, three new expansion teams getting ready to come in the next 3 years.
Mm.
So if they could bring back the Charlotte Sting, and that's more opportunity for women. But there has to be that support to in order for it to make sense. So. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, seeing the rise in women's sports, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, everybody in the W doing their thing, what Coach Staley doing down in Columbia at South Carolina,
Mhm.
LSU with Kim Mulkey and Flau'jae, who's leading the way down there. And with Flau'jae, it's crazy to see how she came in on the rap game and how she went to America's Got Talent to where she's playing at LSU. And of course, her background. Her dad was the late rapper Camouflage, and I believe Boosie is an uncle.
That's crazy.
I think Boosie is an uncle. But it's crazy to see how the popularity in women's sports is really coming to where everybody's like, okay, we got eyeballs on us. What we gonna do? We got to
Mhm.
expand. It almost feels like how when Bird and Magic first came into the NBA, and how they was coming
Mhm.
off of that black eye and games are on tape
Mhm.
delay, and how they really saved the league. And then when Jordan came in '84, he just took it global.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I would say the last 2 years, even prior to Caitlin coming into the league, there's been a lot of eyeballs. There's been a lot of growth, slow growth. Like I think even still after last season, I think they still lost money. Uh, I find that hard to believe, but I think they were saying that they still lost like 50 million or something. It was something outrageous. I don't know if that number is actually true, because that stuff is not like something you could just, hey, how much did the WNBA lose out on last season?
Mm,
But there was growth. Like they all had their own planes, you know, better hotel stays. Like the WNBA really stepped it up for them. So hopefully they can keep it going and hopefully they can really generate some money. I definitely try to be a supporter of the league and go to women's games, try to buy the merch, watch the games on all the networks. 'Cause, it come on like 5 times a week.
mm.
So I try to catch it. How you feel about the new 3-on-3 women's league that they just launched last month?
I'm thinking
Unrivaled.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's really good because seeing what happened with Brittany Griner over in Russia, I think a lot of players are
Mhm.
probably hesitant to go overseas and play, where you got an alternate league to really showcase your skill, and also if you ain't got the big deal like the big money players, you can supplement your income by playing in another league, so that way you don't have to go overseas to play.
And they're paying well too. I didn't get to look and see what the salary requirements are, but a lot of WNBA players are in that league.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and we can call what we're going to talk about right here the Coach Prime effect. What Deion Sanders did first at Jackson State and then parlayed
mhm,
that into Colorado, where, the first year was rocky. This past season, they went to their first bowl game in X amount of years. Travis Hunter won the Heisman, their first Heisman Trophy winner since the late Rashawn Salam, and how he inspired others that played in the game to get into college coaching, with Michael Vick being named the coach at Norfolk State, and then Deshaun Jackson named the coach at Delaware State. And of
that's
course,
the
Eddie
thing. Yep.
George is still doing his thing down at Tennessee State. So, what's your take on Coach Prime and the effect that he's having on the college football scene, and how now, because of the transfer portal and NIL, the athletes now have the power, as to where the NCAA said, no, we got all the power, you guys are not gonna get any money while we eat off the plate, and you're not even gonna get a crumb.
I like what he did I like how he turned it around in Colorado. I wish he would have stayed at Jackson State, but I get it. But I feel like he did a great job at putting the spotlight on HBCUs. Really had like prospects like we'll use Mikey Williams out of California before he got arrested on a gun charge, but he was like looking at a HBCU for a basketball scholarship, and so all the HBCUs started really, putting their bids in, trying to land this. He was at the time the number one basketball player in the nation for his class, so I feel like the spotlight he put on HBCUs definitely helped and also had players looking at HBCUs. So I love what he did for that, and definitely had a great season at Colorado. So, but I'm not a huge PWI guy. I'm always going to rep for HBCUs, and I see that open the door for guys like Mike Vick to go to Norfolk State, Deshaun Jackson being at Delaware State. Uh, Even like my alma mater, Virginia State. Like we've had some great coaching come through. We've had great players come through. We just had a player get drafted to the NFL a couple seasons ago,
Mhm.
Trent Cannon. I want to say he was on the Jets last. Hold on one second. Excuse me. So, so yeah, the Coach Prime effect definitely is definitely making a ripple in the coaching market with former players going to HBCUs, high school prospects looking at HBCUs. The NIL situation, I love it. I love it for the players. You know, guys like the O'Bannon brothers who sued the NCAA in the mid '90s. Uh, sued them for using their name, image, and likeness, and was getting paid from them. The Fab Five. If you watch their 30 for 30, they talk about how they wore the black socks, the black shooting shirts. They went on strike because Jalen Rose saw his jersey in the store that was like $100, and he was like, "That's my number, that's my jersey, and I ain't getting no money. I can't even buy a pizza." So it's good seeing players get these NIL deals, these contracts to go play sports at these schools. Now, I think they need to like, put a stipulation on the contract duration so they don't just hop on the transfer portal every year. So I feel like they need to go ahead and, put that stipulation in or that contract duration. But I love the NIL. I love seeing old coaches get mad because the players are making money now and they don't know what to do. But it's like, but it was okay for you to make 10, 20 million a year, and now you got a problem with the kids making money too when they're the ones really putting their bodies on the line. So
Yeah, man, it's definitely good to see the players really reap the benefits and profit, and how a lot of them, especially if you know that you're probably not gonna go high, or your career prospects will probably be overseas or maybe a developmental league. Let me just make the biggest bag that I can in college because I know I won't get a bag this big again.
Yeah, it's like Armando Bacot, from your school, UNC. Um,
Mm-mm.
so he said his last 2 years he made about 2 million, and that was life-changing money. He was able to get into a real estate venture, with his roommate and his roommate's dad, I believe, and they bought I think it's a Hilton. Pardon me, sinuses, man, they've been getting at me.
And had to clear your throat like DJ Cool, huh?
Yeah, but he got into a hotel there. I want to say it's a Hilton property, but because of NIL, he was able to put himself in that position and also help his family out some. Now his brother, I think his brother's a senior this year. He's about to start getting that NIL money. So
Mhm.
I
Yes,
love it, man.
yeah, I love it too. And also, what I love is that Bill Belichick, aka Hoodie, is coaching at Carolina, and how he's probably going to have Tom, Gronk, everybody from the Patriots on speed dial. Say, can you do this recruiting pitch for me? Have Tom Brady show up at the door, show the 7 rings. That's all you need. I got 7 of these. He'll get you prepped for the next level. Look at me.
Man, do he really got 7 rings? That's
Yeah, I think
crazy.
yeah, Brady got 7, and Mahomes he's on his way to possibly get him what 4, because the Chiefs will be the first team in NFL history to three-peat, and if they
Yeah.
do three-peat, they got to pay Pat Riley because he owns the trademark.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Pat Riley
crazy.
trademark everything related to three-peat, which is a win for him, and to make up for a loss for this week because they finally got rid of Jimmy Butler, shifted him out to Golden State, and but that
Mhm.
wasn't the big trade that broke the internet. The big trade that broke the internet was Luka Doncic getting traded to LA for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis now in Dallas, and that just sent shockwaves throughout the NBA. So, what's your take on that? And do you think the Lakers are finally saying, okay, we thinking LeBron maybe only got 2 to 3 years left. Let's go ahead and prep for life after LeBron.
2 to 3, bro. Bron retiring after next season. Like, bro is not trying to play that long into his fifth in his 40s. I said 50s. Wow. Uh, yeah, I think Brian got one more season in him. I think he's gonna do his farewell tour. Uh, once he announces this upcoming season is gonna be the last, I can't see him playing any further. And he's even said it himself. Even Bryce, because somebody said, Brian should play when you get to the league, and Bryce was like, man, he be 42. Like, I don't think he's trying to play that much longer. So, um, the crazy thing is people like uh thinking LeBron has something to do with this AD and Luca trade. It's like, bro, y'all really put that much power on LeBron. Like, bro said, I'm at dinner eating with my family when I found out like everybody else. AD didn't know. Luca didn't even know he was on the block. Like, that's how hush it was. Like, nobody knew that Luca was available, and other teams were pissed because Nico didn't. Hey, we got Luca available. So I can't believe. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, but did you see that press conference though after the trade when Nico was talking and Jason Kidd was looking at him like, bro,
Pissed, pissed, because he didn't know. Your head coach did not know. And it was documented that when Nico called Rob Pelinka, because mind you, Dallas didn't call anybody else. They called LA. Rob Pelinka said, "Are you serious? Like, are you joking right now? Like, you're offering Luca? Come on, man.
mm,
You don't
yeah,
tell your head coach. Kid would have never signed off to that."
No, and especially after Luca led them to to the NBA Finals last year.
And he's only 25. 25
Mm,
years old. You trade a 25-year-old that took you to the NBA Finals for a 31-year-old. Don't get me wrong, AD is an amazing basketball player, but he's 31.
mm. Can't stay healthy, but they did get a ring though in the bubble.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna get it. Like, I don't know if they're gonna get one now because even when they got Clay and Kyrie, like they're what, number 9 in the West.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
what's surprising is that OKC is pretty much picking up where they left off last year and proving that last year was no fluke. SGA playing like he wants that MVP that he should have got last year. And they're doing it with
mhm.
Big Chet being out. And surprisingly, Rockets are top of the West and Grizzlies coming back strong with Ja being back healthy and how, you know, Minnesota, they really took a step back, I think, once they made that trade for Randall and Big Cat.
Yeah, that was a bad trade at that time 'cause it was literally right before the season tipped off. I think it was like 2 weeks before the season kicked off. And I think Julius Randles he's out right now, but all of that don't matter, bro. Because you know what, I'm not sold on OKC. I think what they lost in the second round to Dallas.
Mm,
Now, so I'm still not sold on them. They got to show up in the postseason,
mm,
and same thing with Houston. I think Houston is just. I think they need like one more piece
right.
before they can make a playoff run. But right now, LA is like, nah, we want to win now.
Right, right. But do you think
So
But do you think Ime was sick like Carl Thomas was when he saw his girl, the kid with that other man, when he saw the Celtics win the ring last year? Man, that dang, that should have been mine if I didn't mess around with that person upstairs. And I had Nia Long.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all subjective, you know. Who knows what would have happened? Because I think they got to the finals the year before. That was the year they lost the finals. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know. Joe
Right.
Mazzulla is definitely the right guy for the job, and
Mm,
he proved it. You know, like they went on a historic run last year. They're still solid this year, but Cleveland is looking amazing. Um, never thought I would say that, but that just shows a testament of how they turn things around. But it's going to be interesting after All Star break.
yeah,
That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, Cleveland definitely figured it out. Life after LeBron with the young talent that they got, and Kenny Atkinson, great coach for the job. But I think a sneaky trade that's going to do wonders is the Fox trade from Sacramento to San Antonio, pairing him with Wemby. You know, you got CP back up, and then we got 434 native Keldon Johnson on the roster as
Hmm.
well, and how you know he Fox is going to have a good time lobbing it up to Wemby. Because Wemby's a freak of nature.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And Fox is from he's from Houston actually,
Mm,
and I think his wife was from San Antonio. So yeah, that's pretty dope that they was able to go back to Texas.
mm,
I was really surprised Sacramento moved on at in that manner that they did. Like I guess it was preferred that he go down to
mm,
Texas.
mm.
So, but I hate it because I liked him in Sacramento. But I guess I mean he was there for like what 6 7 years. So
Yeah,
it's time
they
to
had that one playoff run where they really pushed Golden State, and Steph did the
yeah
light the beam, and how
yeah
once they had that Independence Day purple beam up in the sky, they were
yeah.
like, "Hey, we good now," you know, because it was the first time they've been to the playoffs in a good minute, probably since the era of Weber, Peja, Bibby. And for those that don't know,
Hmm.
Mike Bibby's dad is from Franklinton.
Did not know that.
Yeah, Mike Bibby's dad was from Franklinton, North Carolina, and just how the Kings really, I felt didn't really capitalize off of that one run. Just how I feel like right now, I feel Phoenix is wasting away Devin Booker.
You know what? I can't disagree.
I
I
mean,
can't. Yeah.
I mean that finals run seemed so distant. I mean, you had a 2-0 lead, and then Aiton got pumped by Giannis. Giannis went Thanos mode and won four straight. And how I think because of everything that happened with the ownership being in flux, with Sarver going out, Matt Ishbia
Mm.
coming in, and how Ishbia, I'm gonna call it for what it is. I think he's doing some David Tepper stuff.
Oh
Well,
man.
at least when Tepper was first owning the team, I think Tepper took a big step this past season in letting Dan Morgan, Brant Tillis, and Canales step back and really run the team. And Carolina came on second half of the season. I think they're going to be poised for a breakout 2025, just like how the Lions was before they made their conference championship run, and possibly could make a run like the Commanders did this past season if they do the right pieces in defense and hidden free agency.
Right. That's interesting that Matt Ishbia is doing some David Tepper stuff. That's funny.
At
But
least he
I
ain't
mean, I
throwing water on somebody.
yeah. But I have to agree, man. Like, yeah, because that finals was what 20 was that 2021,
Yeah, that was
2020.
20 that was 21 because I know a few of them had to end up hopping on the jet going to play in the Olympics not too long after
Right.
that. But like I said, Phoenix was up 2-0, and then Giannis just went on a tear. They won four
Yeah.
straight, and I was like, man, will CP3 finally get out of the no ring club and finally get one? But Giannis said, not today.
Not today. Nah. Which goes to show you how hard it is to win, not just in the NBA, but also just at being a pro athlete in general. Like I think we look at a guy like to bring LeBron back into the conversation because we always there's always a talk about, he got four rings, he doesn't have six like Jordan or five like Kobe. It that just shows you how hard it is to win, yo. Like you think about the times that LeBron went to the finals, he only favored like what, twice?
Mm,
And remember that year they beat San Antonio? What was that 2013?
mm,
Man, 2014 rematch, San Antonio bust their ass.
mm,
They go like Phoenix up 2-0. Giannis of all people went on a full Thanos mode and came back and won the series. Like, who would have thought?
right.
Look at Denver. Denver got that one ring, and they lost in seven to Minnesota the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like they might not make a deep playoff run this year because they ain't really made no moves. So it's just a testament on how hard it is to win at a professional level. When you got guys like on the football side, the Chiefs looking to be the first team to three-peat, but Philly ain't laying down that easy. Like, nah, Philly, you got to earn that one. And I don't care how much you pay the refs or how much suspect calls the refs gonna make Sunday,
Mm.
but come believe, like Philly ain't playing.
Right. I'm telling Philly right now, you better call Eli Manning. I know he's in town because he's from New Orleans. Just say, hey, sneak us some of that secret stuff like Michael did the Looney Tunes and Space Jam so that we can
Hmm.
take down the Chiefs. Because right now the Chiefs, they're on Bulls three-peat level, Lakers early 2000s levels where they're not going to beat themselves. You got to pretty much play pretty much a flawless game to beat the Chiefs. And everybody in America was rooting for the Bills because the Bills, I felt like they are the Bulls when Michael couldn't break through Detroit. It feels like that. It feels like Pistons when they couldn't beat Boston. It feels like the Bills, they're a good team, but not good enough. It still feels like the ghosts of those '90s Bills teams are still haunting them.
They had that one call where uh Irving on uh the Chiefs and the safety, not the safety. I can't recall who's the defender on the Bills. They both had their hand on the ball.
Mm,
but the ball hit the ground, bro. It
mm,
hit the ground, like literally hit the ground. That should
mm,
have been an incomplete pass. I don't care what. Like, if you're gonna give it awards to the offense, offense has to have both hands
mm,
or control of the ball. The ball
mm.
cannot hit the ground.
Right.
That should have been an incomplete pass. Like, that's the type of ish that we be talking about. Like, it's
Right.
just way too many. It's way too many of those calls that goes the Chiefs' way every single week.
Yeah, it feels like the Chiefs are pretty much the Patriots if they were likable.
I don't know if you saw the guy that he asked Travis a question. He said, "Who do you love more, Taylor Swift or a phantom rushing the passing call for a 15-yard penalty?" Travis said, "Next question."
Yeah, had to dodge that real quick. But props to
Yeah,
whoever decided to put Jameis Winston on Super Bowl coverage. You deserve a
yeah,
raise because I felt like
yeah.
Jameis Winston would have been a perfect character to have a standalone episode in Atlanta while eating Nutella and drinking juice,
How, yeah, how can you not like Jameis, man? Famous Jameis.
eating
Get that
W's.
man. Yeah, he said, "Can I give you a W?" And he threw one.
I mean, he's already deacon in training. He probably already got a church site somewhere built, got the prayer handkerchief, the miracle spring water, and got that number that you can call across the screen where you can donate, and it's going to be
some
tax
Peter,
free.
some Peter Popoff.
Yeah, so Peter Popoff, the 30 for 30 Holy Trinity of Football church.
They
So
need to sign that. Somebody need to sign that man. Keep
yeah,
keep him keep him employed. But I think he's gonna be an analyst. I don't know if anybody's gonna pick him up. He had an all right season in Cleveland, but it just I mean it's Cleveland. So
yeah, I mean, but Cleveland, low key, good city. I went to Cleveland this past summer. It's not the mistake by the lake like everybody think it is. So if you go to
uh,
Cleveland, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, very nice. It's right downtown by the water, by the lake, and you got the progressive field where the Cleveland Guardians play, and it's just a really overall great city. So definitely go check out Cleveland and real quickly before I get you on out of here, bro, 'cause I know it's late on the East. Have you heard the Tweaker record that Jello put out?
of course. I might Spurs bend the swim swerve the corner. Whoa, whoa, of course.
Man, when I first heard it, I was like, did he just take an outtake from a big timer CD and just
Of
release it as a
course.
single?
Of
Because it
course.
felt like a straight 99 2000 Cash Money record that Manny Fresh had sitting that just was never released.
Man, I was about to put my do-rag and fit it on, yo. With the extra the
The
tall
extra
tee.
tall white tee.
Yeah, I was about to break that out. Like, okay, Jello, he got another song that sound like again, just sound like one of them early 2000 songs that we grew up on that we were just reminiscing on earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Now having him perform at the NFC Championship game in Detroit, like yeah, that not the championship game, but the semifinal. Like I
Mm.
don't know whose call that was, but yeah,
Mm.
that shouldn't have happened. But nonetheless, good. Yeah, I mess with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I need Jello to put out a mixtape. I need Jello to do a Cash Money No Limit style album cover with the
Mhm,
gloss and be in somebody's bootleg record store or somebody's barbershop. And for Manny Fresh to produce an album so that way we could get the full Cash Money effect and how, that whole run, between Cash Money and No Limit really put New Orleans on the map. And I didn't know until the No Limit Chronicles that I believe Birdman and Slim had came to Master P about getting
mhm,
in, and I think P ended up brushing them off.
mm. I don't think P said he brushed him off. I think he mentioned that in the No Limit docu series. I don't think he said he brushed him off. But man, them dudes old as hell. They probably don't even remember.
Right, right. But man, but just think about all that talent come out of that one area, two separate labels, and how they really influence, rap. And we mentioned Travis Hunter earlier winning the Heisman. Wayne was at the Heisman ceremony.
Hmm. Yeah, Jello put the video out. I haven't watched it yet, but I feel like. I don't think he's gonna do an album. I know he got this $13 million deal with Def Jam. That sounds like an absurd amount of money to get for a record deal. But I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds like a gas face deal. Speaking of gas face, if you haven't checked out the interview on Drink Chance with Third Base with both Pete Nice and MC Search, it's definitely
Mhm.
a must listen and a must watch. So before we go, bro, plug any projects that you got going on and shout outs
Shout out to you, man. Uh, what year is this for you right now?
for in regards to what?
Uh, Beyond the album cover, because you've been very consistent.
Beyond the album cover has been around for you asking the wrong one. I haven't really looked at when I started, but I know it's been somewhere in the late 2010s when I started. And then, it was me just talking about album covers and everything, but then it transitioned back into me doing the interviews, what I did back in the day on the Time Machine. And,
Mhm.
it's been really good. Everybody's been responsive to the interviews and, especially, when I interviewed Renee Seiler about a month or so ago. So definitely go check that out along with past episodes on where you stream and where you watch. So, I'm very thankful for everybody that's been supporting me since Beyond the Album Cover and the Time Machine days, because all it is just an extension of what was before, but it was just where, pre social media, but it's been
Yeah.
around for probably over
Nah.
10 years or
Uh,
so.
I'm proud of you, man. Like I remember when you relaunched it. You've been consistent. I'm a subscriber. I get all your notifications. I catch some of the interviews when I'm working. So just to see the consistency, man, like definitely want to shout out to you for executing the vision and remaining, vigilant and keeping this going. Because most people they would stop, you know, if they're not getting the views that they think that they, should get or how they envision, they stop and give up. But you have a deeper purpose for doing this. Like you've always been a person to look beyond the album cover, hence the name of the show is like it's perfect because like a lot of information. Like I don't know if y'all know, but Jay Mace is a walking Wikipedia. Like I don't know if you remember we was at Ruby Tuesday. This dude broke down what was this? It was something with Pistol Pete you had broke down. It was totally random.
Y'all look at me
Uh
like WTF when and Shake Weight was talking about shout out to Shake Weight.
Yeah, I forgot I don't know. It was something in regards to Pistol Pete. I don't even think it was basketball related, but it was just like, how do you know that? It's just, but it's information, but it's also history because it ties into what you love, man. That's sports, music, and useless information that Jay Mace knows.
Yeah,
You need to add that as a segment.
yeah, I know. Useless facts. But I want to talk about this real quick. So
Mhm.
it is what it is with Mason Cam. How a lot of young kids don't know that this was Murder Mace and Killer Cam, and how you know them as the sports guys. Whereas we came up with them with Cam had us wearing pink. I wasn't one of them, but and Mace was having us doing the slow flow where we were saying take that, and
Right.
how diplomatic immunity and come home with me was in the streets. It was fire. It was Dipset Cam. I'm still hurt that Dipset didn't capitalize on that versus like they should have, and Jadakiss just lined them all up and just
Oh, just line
spanked
them
them.
up. Oh my gosh.
Spank them. Jadakiss said, "Hey, Styles the Sheep, y'all can sit out tonight."
Right. Belt the ass.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how we got introduced to them. Like Cam had horses and carriage. That was his first debut single under Lanson Rivera. Uh Now we get into the music history.
Mhm.
Mace had Harlem World when he signed a Bad Boy, and he had his bangers. They used to play ball together. Like there's a you
Mhm.
they talked about that on one of the episodes
Yeah.
where I think Cam missed the free throw or missed the last game winning shot and Mace was mad at him. Like they talk
Mhm.
about a lot of that stuff. So like yeah, it's funny to see them evolve into uh sports podcasters because they're all in their 50s now. So
Yeah, but
But
Cam still showed that he still got it though, because he dropped a freestyle over Tell Me by Groove Theory. I was like, this is like mixtape Cam. It felt like me going into certain urban retailer, getting somebody's bootleg mixtape and hearing somebody yelling over it and saying, oh, man, man, man. Rest in peace, DJ King Slay.
yeah, yeah, R.I.P. The drama king.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, man. But it's crazy how like, the flea markets had us fiending, the
yeah,
barbershops had us fiending, and it feels like Tubi is pretty much the online version of the bootleg man at the flea market or the barbershop. If you have not seen the Dirty D, check it out. You'll love it.
ha.
I mean, the theme song is banging
I,
though. I mean,
I skip over that every time I open Tubi. I'm like, I'm not watching a show called The Dirty D.
not nah, dog. I thought I wasn't gonna be hooked, but it was maybe like 2 episodes in. I found myself being heavily invested.
Oh man. All right, I guess I'll check it out.
Yeah. And on that note, man, where can people find out more about what projects you got going on and your socials and all that jazz?
Yeah, so you can follow me, DJ321, spell out the two. Website, DJ321.com, spell out the two. Actually, I'm doing a lot of uh DJing in casinos, also doing I have a old school karaoke brand called Yo Karaoke, where we do 90s, 2000s karaoke parties. So yeah, everything's on the website. Also Yo Karaoke has an Instagram, YO Karaoke. So yeah, that's where you can find me at, man. I'm just right now uh trying to figure out what direction I want to go in as a DJ. As we're both in our 40s now. Wait, Jay, made you hit 40 yet?
This year, December 7th, I'll
Okay,
be turning
yeah.
40, about to hit that where I'm like, oh, what 40, I think is the time where you do that self-evaluation where it's like, okay, it's halftime. What have I done right? What have I done
What
wrong
was
in the
that
past
wrong?
40 years?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of like that now with DJing. It's just like, all right, do I want to continue down this path? What changes do I want to make? So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But for right now, things are stable. So yeah, that's where y'all can find me, man. YO Karaoke and at DJ321, spell out the two.
All right, so find him on all the socials. It's going down when he comes to your neighborhood. You will not be disappointed. And to all you button pushing DJs, forget you as a staff, record label, and as a crew because y'all whack anyway. Y'all had the cheat codes. Y'all didn't have to lock yourself in the room and learn about 120 beats per minute, learning how to scratch, learning how to beat juggle. You got Serato doing that for you. So forget you too. Button pusher DJs, forget you too. All you people that can't read cue card notes, forget you too. All you people that can't do back sales and front sales, forget you too. Because we've been doing this for a minute. Been doing this for over 20 years. I ain't got no 4-4, but I'm gonna make sure that you ain't gonna grow no more, man. Because the internet is ruining for y'all, man. I'm burning up right now because y'all don't understand the work that we put in. I got $50,000 worth of loans for this degree. Y'all did. Y'all got the internet. Y'all had to sit through DSL cable modems. We had 56K dial up. Y'all didn't have that because we some
Tell
internet
him.
killers.
Tell
Rest in peace, Pac. The greatest diss track rant of all time. And I'm sure Adam Silver was
him.
relieved when Luca beat Ant-Man. Because if Ant-Man would have won one. If Ant-Man would have went full Atlanta and started dissing
Yeah, the South got something to say.
Atlanta versus everybody would have been real that day, man.
You better
Woo!
get ready because it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Ant-Man gonna get him one.
Ant-Man, when I looked at that press conference where him and Cat was saying, forget them 9 years, I thought about that episode of Atlanta where Ern and Paperboy was in the jail. And he said, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this my girl. Yo, girl.
Hey, I'm gonna watch all those episodes again, bro. Classic,
Yo,
classic,
the,
man,
the Europe
classic.
the Europe season was trash.
Just-
But
yeah,
but the first three seasons and the last was classic, especially when Tracy had the do rag and was
hmm
talking about the no chase. No, I'm gonna take this stuff. What?
Yeah,
Yo,
I
this
gotta,
stuff.
I gotta.
Yo, this store got a no chase policy. All they gotta do is offer me good customers. That's all they can do. In North Carolina connection, for y'all that don't know, Brian Tyree Henry, aka Paperboy, is from Fayetteville. Man, I always
Yeah.
reference Atlanta because of the barbershop episode and the club episode when old boy came up on Paperboy at the club and started rapping.
Hmm.
I've been riding in these streets. But But if you love Atlanta, you'll love the Vince Staples show. It's pretty much like a West Coast version of Atlanta,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
super hilarious. So hopefully we'll get a season 2 of the Vince Staples show. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been kicking it with my good buddy, my good friend from way back when, DJ 321 32. Thank you for coming on Beyond the Album Cover, bro. And just
Yep.
remember, cool points. You still here, baby.
Still here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
come back soon.
All right, and I'm gonna make sure to go to IHOP, get a 3-piece special and not grill in the house, man. All right, bro.
All right, then.
All right, peace.